140-DM, Nicholas Richardson versus Taylor Richardson. This is the date and time set for an order to show cause plaintiff for violation of court orders. Appearing at today's hearing via Zoom, there being no objection, is the plaintiff, Nicholas Richardson, with his attorney, Brianne Neros, and the defendant, Taylor Richardson, with her attorney, Lori Schmelzer. And Ms. Neros, you may proceed.
Thank you. So obviously we have the motion, I guess, with addressing the Our Family Wizard allegations first. The parties have been texting one another far after the May 8th, 2023 order. And my client has been active on Our Family Wizard as of August 8th, 2023. He's read messages sent from the defendant, I believe either on July 30th or some date, but they've been communicating on that platform since at least August 8th, which was before this motion was filed. And with respect to the childcare expense allegations, my client has asked Ms. Richardson for an updated total twice and has not been given that information. The response was that it would be communicated through counsel, and as of today, I've never received a current balance owed. And there's nothing in the motion that states the amount that has been unpaid. I understand the rates have been set forth and the frequency that Ms. Richardson had used the daycare provider, but no due balance has been alleged. So he's made his efforts to try and gather the information to remedy the childcare expenses, outstanding payment, and he's been using Our Family Wizard. So I will let the court infer what it will from that. But
so would it have been possible to determine from Mr. Richardson's pay stubs whether or not there had been some sort of increase in withholding for child support attributable to Ms. Richardson having submitted the child care verification form to the friend of the court several months ago? Did anybody look at that?
Your Honor, I can answer that question. I quite frankly don't understand what the friend of the court is doing. As Your Honor might recall, we recently had a new custody order and therefore a referral to the friend of the court. And they just issued a new child support order and again did not include the daycare expense as a withholding. They did order him again to pay a percentage of it. So the friend of the court has never issued a temporary order or final order. In fact, when the original temporary order came out and my client objected, we did point out that the friend of the court had not included the child care cost despite her submitting a daycare cost form to the friend of the court. So I don't know why they haven't done it and why they continue not to do it. But it appears that the only order here is that he reimburse her the percentage directly.
Okay, all right. So, Ms. Neros, did you look into asking the friend of the court for a non-custodial parent payment report? That would have just laid it all out. Did you?
well, I reached out last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago, asking for the updated order following the recommendation and order after our trial. And my understanding was that the caseworker had been out. And so I haven't seen an updated calculation. So I was just trying to check in on the status of where we even were with recalculation purposes before trying to get into any more specifics.
So if this issue ever comes up again, you should ask for an NCP payment report, and that would eliminate a lot of this ambiguity. And I would just advise both of these of you, Mr. Richardson and Ms. Richardson. It's called an NCP payment report. You can ask for that from the friend of the court. You don't need your lawyer to do it. And it'll actually give you a running account of what's been going in, any changes over time, and it would show if there were any monies being collected for specifically childcare, because it seems like there's some confusion on that point, which I'll clear up here momentarily. Ms. Schmelzer, what about this Our Family Wizard issue? According to Ms. Neros, there on August 8th, there were communications happening. How would you respond to that?
Your Honor, I did pop into Our Family Wizard yesterday, and I did see that he has logged in and started an account. Obviously, that is months and months afterwards. My client has text messages that show, and she can testify to that if we need to, but she's informed me that not only up to August 8th, she's repeatedly asked him to communicate with her per the order on Our Family Wizard, and he won't. And after August 8th, he's still making some communications directly to her and not through the Wizard app. There seems to be an air of obstinance here on that front. And it is frustrating because she has no choice but to, if he refuses to communicate on Our Family Wizard, they have 2 little children, 2 and 4 years old. They need to communicate. So she's sort of backed into a corner in that she can't just simply ignore him.
Ms. Neros, doesn't the order require all child-related communications to occur by Our Family Wizard?
It does, but I will say there's been no additional communications from my client to Ms. Richardson, with the exception of one message on August 14th, which again, if we want testimony from the parties, that's fine. But ever since then, it's been mainstreamed through Our Family Wizard.
Okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to screen share some documents. One moment. Okay, so it's screen sharing now. This is a document that was into the front of the court's file dated February 9th, 2023. It went out to both parties and it was addressed, although it was sent to both parties, it was addressed to Mr. Richardson. It says in part, quote, the court order currently in effect in regard to child support requires that upon written verification to the friend of the court that the custodial parent has work-related child care costs, you are to contribute 53% of such costs after allowance is made for the child care credit allowed by the IRS. Defendant has presented verification to this office that she presently pays $500 per week for child care costs, unquote. This letter, which again went out to both parties on or about February 9th, states, quote, therefore, we are increasing monthly child support charges to include, underscore include, this amount, $639, effective 3/1/2023, the first of the month following receipt of verification of child care charges. Your total monthly payment will now be, underscore, $1,853, unquote. So my confusion is why this was not brought to my attention at the custody trial by either party. That's my confusion. And I'm even more confused why Ms. Richardson has now show-caused her co-parent when she also apparently received this letter indicating that the child care was going to be incorporated into the monthly child support payment. It's very confusing to me. I'm going to screen share something else. One moment. Okay. I'm going to try to increase the size of this so we can see it. We'll try. Let's see if this works. One moment. I'll stop the screen share. So this, Ms. Neros, is what I was talking about by asking for the NCP payment report, because you'd be getting something very similar. You'd be getting something very similar to this. It actually shows what Mr. Richardson is paying